Have you ever wondered why some days it feels almost impossible to get out of bed, even though deep down you know there's so much more you're meant for? Why is it that no matter how many goals you set, how many promises you make to yourself, you keep finding yourself stuck in the same place? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're weak. And it's definitely not because you're not capable. The truth is far more powerful, and once you understand it, everything can change. Right now, there's a silent battle happening inside you, a struggle most people never talk about. It's that heavy, invisible weight pressing down on your dreams, making everything feel harder than it should. You look around and it seems like everyone else is moving forward, while you're trapped in place, wondering if you're broken somehow. But you're not broken. You're not lost. You're just fighting an enemy you can't see, and today we're going to bring it into the light. See, most people think motivation is something you either have or you don't, that it's a magical feeling that shows up when the stars align. But that's a lie. Motivation isn't random. It doesn't just disappear without a reason. If you're feeling tired, stuck, unmotivated, it's because your mind and your heart are sending you a message. They're trying to tell you something is wrong, something is out of alignment. And ignoring that message is what keeps you trapped in cycles of frustration and self-doubt. The worst part is most of us blame ourselves. We think it's a character flaw, that if we just pushed harder, worked longer, punished ourselves more, we could finally break through. But the real enemy isn't your effort. It's the silent misalignment between the life you're living and the life you're meant to live. It's the quiet betrayal of your own dreams for the sake of fitting into a mold you were never designed for. And the longer you deny that truth, the heavier that invisible weight becomes. There's a reason your energy feels drained. There's a reason your heart isn't in it. Because chasing a dream that doesn't belong to you will always feel like trying to run a race in chains. No matter how hard you push, you're pulling yourself in the wrong direction. And your soul knows it. That's why it resists. That's why it rebels. Not to punish you, but to protect you. To pull you back to who you really are. You don't lack motivation because you're not strong enough. You lack motivation because you're not aligned enough. There's a part of you that's been silenced for too long, the part that remembers why you started dreaming in the first place, the part that knows you were made for something bigger, deeper, more real than the shallow definitions of success the world keeps shouting at you. And here's the most important thing you need to hear today. The fact that you feel this inner tension means you're closer than you think. You're not failing, you're awakening. You're starting to recognize that the old paths won't take you where you want to go. That the old habits, the old beliefs, the old ways of living, they can't carry the weight of the person you are becoming. If you stay with me until the end, you'll discover something that can change your life forever. Not just a trick to feel a little better. Not a quick burst of fake motivation that fades by tomorrow, but a truth powerful enough to set you free. A truth that reconnects you to your real power, the kind that doesn't need outside approval, doesn't depend on perfect circumstances, and doesn't crumble when life gets hard. Because you already have everything you need inside you. You always have. You just forgot for a little while. And that's okay. This is your reminder, your wake-up call, your turning point. Imagine for a moment what your life would feel like if you didn't have to fight yourself anymore. If every morning you woke up with a fire in your chest, knowing exactly why you were here, knowing that every step you took was leading you closer to the life you were born to. Live. That life isn't a fantasy. It's real. It's possible. And it's waiting for you on the other side of a decision you get to make today. A decision to stop blaming yourself. A decision to start listening to the voice inside you that's been whispering, "This isn't it. There's more for you." A decision to believe that even when you feel stuck, even when you feel tired, your story is still being written. And the best chapters are still ahead. You are not finished yet. You are just getting started. Stay with this. Stay with yourself. The real reason you felt stuck is about to be revealed. And when you see it, you'll never see yourself the same way again. The reason you've been feeling stuck isn't because you aren't trying hard enough. It's because you've been running toward a finish line that was never meant for you. Somewhere along the way, you started chasing goals that weren't born from your own heart. Maybe they came from pressure, maybe they came from fear, maybe they came from wanting to make someone else proud, but deep down, they never felt like home. And here's the truth you need to hear. Even if it's uncomfortable, your mind knows when you're lying to yourself. Your body knows when the path you're walking isn't yours. Every ounce of resistance you feel, every wave of exhaustion, every whisper telling you to quit, it's not because you're broken, it's because you're out of alignment. You can force yourself to keep going for a while. You can push through the pain and silence the voice inside you, but it will always come back, stronger, louder, because your soul refuses to be ignored forever. You were not created to live a life that feels empty. You were not built to chase dreams that don't light you up inside. That emptiness you feel, that disconnection, it's not the sign of a weak spirit, it's the sign of a powerful one. A spirit that refuses to settle for a life that's less than what you deserve. The world has fed you a lie. It told you that success is about checking the right boxes, getting the right job, earning the right amount, winning the right approval. But when you chase someone else's definition of success, you lose yourself in the process. And losing yourself will always cost you your motivation. Because true motivation doesn't come from pressure. It doesn't come from fear. It doesn't come from pretending to be someone you're not. Real motivation, the kind that makes you unstoppable, comes from deep alignment with who you really are. It comes from remembering what sets your heart on fire without permission, without applause, without anyone else's validation. When you're aligned with your true path, you don't have to force yourself to move. Movement becomes natural. Effort becomes energy. Obstacles don't disappear, but they lose their power over you. You stop fighting yourself, and you start flowing with the current of who you were always meant to become. But the first step toward that life is honesty, brutal, fearless honesty. You have to be willing to ask yourself the hard questions. Why are you really chasing what you're chasing? Whose voice is driving you? Is it your voice? Or the voice of someone who told you a long time ago that you weren't enough? And if the answer scares you, good. That fear means you're getting close to the truth. The life you crave isn't found in avoiding discomfort, it's found in walking through it. It's found in standing still long enough to listen to the voice you've been drowning out with busyness, with noise, with pretending everything's fine. You don't need another checklist. You don't need another plan to force yourself into. You need alignment. You need truth. You need to choose yourself again. Imagine the freedom of waking up and knowing you're building a life that belongs to you. A life where every step you take feels lighter because it's fueled by passion, not pressure. A life where you're not chasing some moving target of enough, but walking steadily towards something that already fills you up on the inside. That life is possible for you. But only if you're brave enough to break free from the lies you've been living. Only if you're willing to stop running from your own heart. Because here's the secret most people never tell you: your dreams were never random. The things that pull at your soul, the visions that won't leave you alone, the quiet longings you're afraid to speak out loud, they're not accidents. They're clues. They're signposts pointing you back to your true path. And every time you ignore them, you drift further from the energy and passion you're searching for. But every time you honor them, even in the smallest ways, you reconnect with the fire that can move mountains. You don't need to figure it all out today. You don't need to have every answer. All you need is the courage to listen, to trust that your deepest desires are not foolish. They're not selfish. They're the map back to yourself. And once you start walking that path, you'll find a strength inside you that you forgot was even there. You'll remember how powerful it feels to move. Not because you have to, but because you want to. You'll see how the right path doesn't drain you. It fuels you. It lifts you. It reminds you that you were never weak. You were simply misaligned. This is your invitation. To stop living a life built on fear. To stop chasing dreams that leave you empty. To stop apologizing for the things you want. The real you is waiting. And when you find your way back to that person, everything changes. The energy, the drive, the joy. The unshakable motivation you've been searching for, it's already inside you, and it's been waiting for this moment. Keep listening, keep believing, you're closer than you think. When you finally understand that your dreams are not random, something inside you shifts. You begin to see that your lack of motivation was never a curse, it was a signal. A wake-up call, A message from the part of you that refuses to let your life be wasted, chasing someone else's idea of success. And now standing here, you have a choice to make. You can keep numbing yourself, keep dragging your feet through a life that doesn't belong to you, or you can rise. You can take ownership. You can reclaim the fire that was never meant to be extinguished. It begins with trust, trusting that small, quiet voice inside you that says, "There's more for you than this." Trusting that you don't have to have it all figured out before you start moving. Trusting that even broken beginnings can lead to beautiful transformations. Too often, we wait. We wait until we feel confident. We wait until we're certain. We wait until every piece fits perfectly. But waiting is a trap. It convinces you that you have time to waste. It steals your urgency. It steals your life. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel fearless. You just need to move. Motivation isn't a prerequisite for action. It's a product of it. Momentum creates energy. Progress fuels passion. Every small step you take, even if it feels insignificant, is a declaration, I am not giving up on myself. Stop looking at the mountain in front of you and telling yourself you can't climb it. Stop measuring the distance between where you are and where you want to be and deciding it's too far. You are stronger than you think. You are braver than you feel. And the moment you take the first step, the moment you dare to act, even when it's messy and imperfect, everything begins to shift. Because here's what they don't teach you. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, like a muscle, like a fire that grows hotter every time you feed it with action. Waiting to feel confident before you move is like waiting to get warm before you build a fire. It's backwards. The warmth comes after you start. The power comes after you move. And yes, you will stumble. You will have days where doubt screams louder than belief. You will have moments where you question everything, but that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're fighting. It means you're in the arena, living, breathing, growing, while others stay stuck watching from the sidelines. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the dreams burning inside you. You don't need permission to chase them. You don't need validation to take your next step. You already have everything you need. It's not in some book you haven't read yet. It's not in some course you haven't taken. It's inside you, right now, waiting. The world needs the version of you that doesn't apologize for wanting more. The version of you that stands up even after falling 100 times. The version of you that dares to believe that your life is meant for something greater than silent resignation. And maybe no one else sees it yet. Maybe no one else understands the fire you're trying to reignite. That's okay. They don't have to. It's not their vision to carry. It's yours. And if you can hold on to it, if you can nurture it even when it's just a flicker, you will become unstoppable. The most powerful people you admire didn't start out feeling powerful. They started out feeling scared, doubtful, alone, but they moved anyway. They made the call, they wrote the page, they took the leap, and piece by piece, they built a foundation of action that their confidence could stand on. You can do the same. You are not excluded from greatness. You are not disqualified by your fears, your failures, or your doubts. Greatness is not reserved for the perfect. It's built by the ones who are willing to be imperfect and show up anyway. Right now, your mind might still whisper, "What if I'm not enough?" But a louder truth is waiting to roar back, "What if you are?" What if everything you need is already inside you, waiting to be unlocked, waiting to be unleashed? This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you stop fighting yourself and start fighting for yourself. A chapter where you stop trying to fit into a life that drains you and start creating one that fuels you. It won't be easy. It won't be perfect. But it will be worth it. Every messy, beautiful, terrifying step of the way. The fire inside you is not gone. It's not broken. It's not beyond saving. It's waiting. Waiting for you to believe in it again. Waiting for you to take one more step. And then another. And then another. Until one day you look back and realize you're no longer searching for motivation. You've become the source of it. The world will tell you to wait, to settle, or to silence your dreams. But you were never meant to live on the sidelines. You were born to rise, to build, to burn brightly, and you have everything it takes to start right now. You have everything it takes to start right now, but starting doesn't mean perfection. Starting doesn't mean you'll have all the answers, all the clarity, or all the support. Starting simply means you decide to no longer abandon yourself. It means you choose to show up, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's terrifying, even when doubt clings to your back like a shadow. There's a voice inside you that's been silenced for too long. The voice that used to believe you were capable of anything. The voice that dared to dream without apology. It's still there, buried under the noise of the world, waiting for you to listen again. You don't have to silence your fears to hear it. You just have to stop letting your fears be the only voice you obey. Fear will always be loud. Doubt will always have something to say. But you are not required to agree with them. You are not obligated to shrink just because the road ahead looks hard. Every time you choose to listen to your dreams instead of your fears, you grow stronger. Every time you move forward in the presence of uncertainty, you reclaim a piece of yourself. This is the real work. Not pretending fear doesn't exist, but moving forward with fear sitting right beside you, and choosing not to hand it the wheel. Choosing to believe that your dreams are bigger than your doubts, that your calling is louder than your excuses, that your life is too precious, too brief, too full of untapped potential to waste standing still. You will be tempted to wait for a better time, a quieter season, a moment when you finally feel ready. But waiting is a luxury you can't afford anymore. Every day you wait is a day you could be building. Every moment you hesitate is a moment you could be rising. The clock is ticking, not to pressure you, but to remind you that life is happening now, not someday, not when you feel braver, now. And there is no force more powerful than a person who decides to trust themselves again. There is no obstacle strong enough to stop someone who has finally remembered who they are. It doesn't mean you won't fall. It doesn't mean you won't have days when it feels like everything is falling apart, but it means you'll rise one more time than you fall. It means you'll keep standing up, keep fighting forward, because deep down you know there's too much at stake to give up now. You weren't given this life to coast through it on autopilot. You were given this life to awaken, to build, to create, to leave something behind that proves you were here. Something bigger than fear, something stronger than doubt, something more lasting than regret. And every small step you take matters. Every late night you spend working toward your vision matters. Every early morning you get up, even though your body is screaming at you to stay down, it matters. Progress isn't always visible. Growth isn't always obvious. But every ounce of effort is a seed planted in the soil of your future. The life you crave isn't built in one grand moment of courage. It's built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It's built in the small decisions to keep going when it would be easier to quit. It's built in the quiet commitment to believe in a future you can't yet see. This is where transformation happens. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the dark, hidden places where you choose to keep believing when the world gives you every reason to doubt. That's where strength is forged. That's where greatness is born. You don't need permission to become everything you were meant to be. You don't need guarantees. You only need the courage to keep choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when the world tells you to stop dreaming. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to build a life that looks nothing like what the world expected of you. You are allowed to demand more from yourself, not out of self-hate, but out of self-love. Because loving yourself means refusing to let your potential rot away in the soil of fear. There will be days when you are tired. There will be days when you wonder if it's all worth it. On those days, remember this: the pain of growth is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Choose your pain wisely. It's time to stop letting fear write your story. It's time to pick up the pen with shaking hands and write a new ending, one where you didn't settle, one where you didn't shrink, one where you didn't spend your life wondering, what if? The fire inside you is not an accident. It's a beacon, a call to action, a reminder that you are alive for a reason. You are here to leave your mark, to change the world in ways that only you can. And you don't have to wait for permission. You just have to begin. You just have to begin, even if you're scared, even if you're uncertain, even if the path ahead looks like nothing but fog and shadows. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is deciding that fear will not control your destiny. Courage is taking the step without the guarantee. It's trusting that your life is too important to be shaped by hesitation. You are standing at the edge of your comfort zone, and every instinct inside you is screaming for safety. It's easier to stay where it's familiar. It's easier to convince yourself that you'll move tomorrow, next week, next year, but deep down you know the truth. Familiarity is not freedom. Safety is not fulfillment. Staying small does not protect you from pain. It just ensures that you experience the slow, crushing ache of a life half-lived. The dreams that pull at your soul are not there to tease you. They are not illusions. They are invitations. They are the future calling you forward, asking you to become the person you were always capable of being. But to answer that call, you have to be willing to leave behind the old version of yourself. The one who doubted, the one who waited, the one who believed the lie that playing it safe would somehow make you happy. Comfort is seductive, but it's a trap. It promises peace while stealing your passion. It promises rest while numbing your purpose. Every day you stay in the familiar, you drift a little further from the fire inside you. And that fire was never meant to be contained. It was meant to set the world ablaze with the full force of who you are. You have to be willing to walk through the discomfort. You have to be willing to risk falling, to risk failing, to risk looking foolish. Because the price of greatness is vulnerability. The price of a life worth living is the willingness to be seen, to be tested, to be stretched beyond what you think you can endure. You are capable of more than you can even imagine, but you'll never discover that capacity by standing still. Growth doesn't happen in the shallow waters. Growth happens when you dive into the unknown, when you dare to swim against the current of your old fears and outdated beliefs. This is your proving ground. Every step you take through fear, every moment you choose progress over perfection, every decision to move instead of wait, you are building the foundation of a life that feels fully, unapologetically alive. A life where you wake up with purpose pounding in your chest. A life where you no longer wonder if you're enough because you're living proof that you are. You will not always feel strong. There will be days when you feel broken, days when every step forward feels like a war. But strength is not measured by how invincible you feel. Strength is measured by how many times you stand back up when everything inside you begs you to quit. Your journey will not be linear. There will be setbacks. There will be detours. There will be moments that make you question why you started. But those moments are not the enemy. They are the fire that forges your resilience. They are the teachers that sharpen your focus. They are the crucible where the best version of you is born. You are not here to live a life of quiet desperation. You are not here to bury your dreams beneath the rubble of fear. You are here to rise. You are here to create. You are here to carve a path so bold, so true, that it leaves a mark not just on the world, but on your own soul. Imagine looking back one day, not with regret, but with pride. Imagine being able to say, I lived, I dared, I fell and I rose. I built a life that mattered to me. That is the reward waiting for you on the other side of your fear. That is the life that is already reaching out for you to claim it. The clock is ticking, but not to scare you, to awaken you, to remind you that every moment you spend doubting yourself is a moment stolen from your future. Every moment you spend hesitating is a moment your dream grows fainter. You don't need to be fearless to change your life. You just need to be willing to show up, willing to stay the course, willing to bet on yourself even when the odds look impossible. The life you want is not a fantasy. It's not beyond your reach. It's waiting for the version of you that stops asking for permission and starts walking in power. The version of you who understands that fear is not the enemy, giving up is. You have walked through storms you thought would break you. You have survived nights you thought would never end. You are already stronger than you realize. You are already more prepared than you feel. Now is your time, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, this moment, this breath, this choice. You are capable, you are powerful, you are enough, and the world is waiting to see what happens when you finally believe it too. The world is waiting to see what happens when you finally believe it too, because belief is the spark that ignites change. Without belief, actions feel hollow. Dreams fade into distant echoes. But when you believe, even a single step carries the force of an unstoppable storm. Belief transforms doubt into fuel. It turns obstacles into stepping stones. It awakens a force inside you that nothing outside of you can defeat. It's easy to think that belief is something that comes from evidence, that you'll believe once you start seeing results. But that's the lie that keeps people stuck. Belief has to come first. You have to choose it before the evidence appears. You have to decide to see yourself as capable, valuable, powerful, especially when you don't yet have proof. Because belief creates the conditions for growth. Belief shapes the reality you are stepping into. If you wait for the world to validate you, you will wait forever. Validation must come from within. Recognition must be born from your own heart first. Because the world doesn't respond to neediness, it responds to certainty. When you walk with belief in your bones, the world has no choice but to pay attention. But you have to give yourself permission to own that belief without apology. You are not a mistake. Your dreams are not accidents. The desires planted inside you are there for a reason. They are the map to your purpose. They are the raw material of the impact you were born to make. Ignoring them will not bring you peace. Shrinking away from them will not make life easier. It will only leave you aching for something you know you were meant to create. You don't need anyone else to understand your vision before you start building it. You don't need applause to start taking action. You don't need guarantees to move forward. What you need is the fire of commitment, the decision that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you stumble, you are not going to quit on yourself again. Commitment is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Commitment is what carries you through the dark nights, the lonely mornings, the days when every part of you wants to turn back. Because commitment means you have decided. It means you have closed the door on quitting. It means you have burned the bridges leading back to a smaller, safer version of your life. You have to want it more than you want comfort. You have to want it more than you want approval. You have to want it so badly that giving up isn't even an option anymore. And that kind of desire isn't born from pressure, it's born from clarity, from understanding deep down that your life is not a rehearsal, that every day matters, that the time to step into your greatness is not someday, it's today. Look around you. Every great achievement you admire was once an idea living inside someone who refused to give up. Every mountain climbed, every barrier broken, every record shattered. It all began with someone deciding that their dream mattered enough to fight for. They weren't superhuman. They weren't chosen. They were simply committed. And you can be too. You can draw a line in the sand today and say, this is the moment I stop negotiating with my potential. This is the moment I stop playing small to make other people comfortable. This is the moment I refuse to let fear dictate my future. You don't have to know the whole path. You just have to trust the next step, one step, then another. Progress is never a straight line. It's messy, it's hard. It's full of moments when you wonder if you're doing it wrong. But every single step forward, even the ones that feel clumsy and awkward, is progress. Every single step is proof that you are moving, you are growing, you are fighting for the life you deserve. And the beautiful thing about momentum is that it builds. Small steps create bigger steps. Small wins create bigger wins. Confidence is built one courageous action at a time, until one day you look back and realize you are living the life you once only dreamed about. But you have to start. You have to believe before you see it. You have to commit before you're ready. You have to act even when fear is screaming in your ear. Because every moment you spend waiting is a moment your dream is left unrealized. You are worthy of the life you envision. You are capable of achieving more than you've ever imagined. But you have to choose it. You have to say yes to the unknown. Yes to the challenge. Yes to the discomfort. Yes to the fire inside you that refuses to die. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of fear. A version of you that is stronger, wiser, freer. A version of you that doesn't settle. A version of you that wakes up every day grateful, not for what was easy, but for what was earned. That version is not a fantasy. It's not a distant dream. It's already inside you, waiting to be unleashed.